pretty early on after you'd started, we had a conversation about it, and you said some really interesting things to me that I didn't know. You said, look, most people just assume that rural America is white America, that it's just all white and it's all conservative. And you shared with me, like, that's just not true. Neither of those things. In fact, it's very diverse, and that most people in rural communities feel like they're left out by both parties. Like neither party is really speaking to the issues that they care about, that impact their lives on a day-to-day basis. So it is, as you said, ground that has been seeded by progressives. We're just leaving it there based on some false assumptions. Is that, would you still say that's true, or how else would you describe that?
Yeah, I mean, 25% of rural residents are people of color. So that's a lot of people. And then when you think about the rural South, I mean, there's more rural Black folks in North Carolina than Black people living in the cities, right? So if you're not working in rural North Carolina, again, you're not even organizing your base.
Right.
And I think there's this idea that rural is just white farmers out in farm country, and that's not true in the South. In the Southwest, it's heavily indigenous and Latino. And so in some places you have a majority communities of color in small towns and rural areas. And also they're often the fastest growing communities in rural places and the most kind of dynamic in terms of opening up small businesses and being really the kind of foundation of the economy and of the schools. And so anyway, yeah, they're not just white people, they're not just farmers, and then even in places where you have where they're always red, right, you're always going to elect a Republican, you're still getting 35-38% of the vote for the Democrats. So there's a lot of Democrats out there. In Wisconsin, in the Supreme Court election that happened earlier this year, 42% of Janet Protasewicz's votes came from rural and small town Wisconsin. Right? That's a lot of votes. If you're not organizing in rural Wisconsin, you're leaving 42% of the votes on the table there.
Yeah, that's a great example.